Let's now try to do data visualization using the machine learning packages. Step 1 is that we have to import all the packages. So import numpy as np. Numpy is nothing but numerical Python. Np is the alias of it. Import pandas as pd. Pandas is for data loading and data manipulation. Import matplotlib pyplot as plt. Matplotlib is a very big package. Out of that, we are going to use only pyplot, which is used for data visualization. Then import Seaborn as SNS. This is also for data visualization. Once you write the code, you can click on this one. Now let's try to load the data set. For data loading, which package is being used? Pandas. pd.read underscore. Since it is CSV, I'm using CSV and I'm copying the path of the data set. Then immediately I'm running it. Okay, so let me try to give the correct path now. So when you are loading the GitHub link, right, we are supposed to give the raw link to it. Otherwise, it won't work. So the same error what I got now, that you will be getting it. So let me try to run it now. So let me see the shape of the data set. There are 180 rows and 9 columns in the data set. df.info. Out of that 9 columns, 3 are object data type columns and remaining are integer columns. And you can see that all are 180 values, which means that there are no missing values in this data set. df.head. So let me try to print the first 5 records. This is how the data set is looking like. Now let me tell you the problem statement. The problem statement is to predict the relationship between product and the customer characteristics. Age is the age of the customer. Gender is male or female. Education, number of years spent in education. Marital status, single or partnered. Number of times treadmill product used in a week. Fitness scale from 1 to 5. 1 means poor fitness, 5 means excellent fitness. Monthly income in INR. Number of miles in a week. So the most important column here is product. So now say I want to print the first 7 records. So let me try to print that now. You can see that the first 7 records I'm printing now. Now say I have to print the last 5 records. So what is the opposite of head? Tail. So df.tail. So now you can try to print the last 7 records. How to do that? df.tail and then just pass 7 to it. Now df.sample, it would be printing random 1 record. This time I got 101 record. Again, let me run it. This time you can see that it is printing 46. Okay. So now all of you please try to print a sample of 10 records. Print sample of 10 records. You can share this answer in the chat. Okay. So whatever questions I am asking you, try to answer it in the chat. Okay. Now, so when we do data visualization, before that we have to do with the descriptive analytics, which means that what happened in the past. So df.describe. So you can see that count is nothing but count of records. Mean is mean value, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, 25 percentile, 50 percentile and 75 percentile. Here 25 percentile and 75 percentile are called as first quarter and third quarter. 50 percentile is second quarter, which is nothing but a median. Okay. So these are the statistical measures we are getting, but we are getting only for the numerical columns. Say if I want to do it for the categorical columns now, I'm just giving like include is equal to all. So now you can see that there would be new statistical measures also, that is unique top frequency. So the number of unique values in product column is 3, TM195. Only that we could see now. There are 2 more. Have we seen that once you have printed sample of 10 records, you are able to see that, right? 2 more products, just because I know that I am telling you. It is TM498 and TM798. Out of 3 products, the most frequently used product is TM195. How many customers are using it? 80 customers are using it. Comparatively, male customers are more in count. Partnered people are more in count. Okay. And wherever it is not able to do the calculation, it is just showing like a NaN. Okay. So now let's go ahead with the data visualization. That is the purpose of this tutorial. First, we will do univariate analysis. Means what? Trying to study about a column. Trying to study about a column, single column. So first, let me try to do histogram. Figure size, right? Fixed size is equal to 10, 10. So let me try to run this. You will be getting a histogram now. 2, 4, 6. So histogram would be working only for the numerical columns. So what we can interpret from this is that the age column, if you see, it is skewed. So about statistics like measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, covariance and correlation videos already I have posted. I'll be sharing the link also with you. So majority of the customers have education level 16 and a majority of the customers are using treadmill at least 3 times a week. There are also few customers who are using it every day. Majority of the customers' fitness level is 3 and the next highest is 5, which is good to know. Now, income is also skewed, miles is also skewed. Skewed is nothing but if the peak is not at the center, then we call it as skewed. Okay, so this is being done. So now let's try to do maybe the count plot. SNS is nothing but Seaborn. SNS dot count plot X is equal to product and data is equal to DF. Let me try to run this. So here what we can infer is that TM195 is used by 80 customers, TM498 60 customers, TM798 40 customers, correct? So altogether it is 180 customers. So why TM798 is used by less number of customers? That is the question that is coming to our mind. That is nothing but diagnostic analytics, right? That we have to do it. Why TM798 is used by less number of customers? Let's now try to do the count plot for gender column. So already we got to know from the table, right? Male customers are more in count. Okay. So now it is your turn. You have to do for marital status column. Please share the response in the chat. Okay. Now one more plot we are going to do, that is basically box plot. SNS dot box plot X is equal to age, data is equal to DF. So let me try to run this. You can see that this is called as 5-number summary. So this is the maximum value. Maximum age is 50. This is minimum. We are not able to see it clearly. From the table, we know that it is 18. The first line stands for 25 percentile. This is 50 percentile. This is 75 percentile. So this is 24, 26 and 33. Do you want to see that where we have already seen this? I will show you that. So you can see for age column, Already we got that, right? 25 percentile, 26 percentile, 33 percentile. So the box plot would be printing these 5 numbers, and also you can see that there are some outliers. About outliers also, already I have done a video. I'll be sharing the link in the chat. Okay. So there are 3 outliers. So you could see that there are few customers whose age is 47, 48 and 50. So now the same way you try to do the box plot for the remaining numerical columns. Okay. So try to do the box plot for the remaining numerical columns. Okay. Now the next one, we will try to do bivariate analysis. Bivariate analysis means studying about 2 columns at a time. So it could be categorical versus categorical, numerical versus numerical, categorical versus numerical. Okay. So first let's try to do categorical. What was the plot we have done for categorical? Yes, count plot. So same SNS dot count plot, x-axis equal to product, and then we are not supposed to give y-axis because in the y-axis we will be measuring the count. So instead of that we will give like a gender, and then data is equal to df. So what we can interpret from this is TM 195 and 498 are used by both gender, but TM 798 is not much preferred by female. Why TM 798 sale is less? Because it is not much preferred by female. That's what we can interpret, right? We are getting answer for diagnostic analytics. Now you can do the count plot for product versus marital status. If you are not able to do, please comment. I will be responding to your questions. Okay. Now, categorical versus categorical we have done. Let's now try to do for numerical versus numerical. SNS dot pair plot TF. So once you do that, we will be getting an amazing charts. 36 charts we will be getting. Why this 36? Because there are 6 numerical columns, 6 into 6. What does that mean? You can see like miles versus age. There would be graph for age versus miles also. This is age versus miles. We can also find graph for miles versus age. Education versus miles, miles versus education. So likewise. So what we can interpret from this is, you can see that there is a very good relationship between usage and miles. So miles is directly proportional to usage. So miles is directly proportional to fitness. No correlation between miles and education. No correlation between miles and age. Right? So remaining whatever relationships you find out, that you comment it. Right? You can comment in the video. Now the next one is that we will do categorical versus numerical. SNS dot box plot, x is equal to product, y is equal to age, data is equal to df. Let me try to run this. We will be again getting an amazing inference. What is the age, right? Minimum age of the customer? 18. That is TM195 customer. You can see that this line is at the bottom. So eldest is 50. So which treadmill product the customer is using? That is 50. And what I can interpret is that these circles are called as outliers. So majority of TM798 users have age in the range of 23 to 37. So a majority of the customers whose age is above 37 are not preferring TM798. Already we knew one reason. TM798 is not much preferred by female, and the customers whose age is above 37 is also not much preferring it. Now what we have to do? We have to do in the same way for the remaining columns. See here, product versus education. So what we can interpret is that majority of the TM798 users or TM798 is preferred by highly educated people. At least their minimum education is 14 and the maximum is 21. In the same way, we can do for all the other columns also. See, for example, I am showing for usage. So TM195 users are using it at least 2 times a week to 5 times a week. Majority of TM498 users are using it 3 times a week. There are also few customers who are using it 2 times a week. Few are using 4 times a week. Very few are using 5 times a week. If you know the answer, you can comment. Why here I am saying few and why here it is very few? TM798 users are using it at least 3 times a week to 7 times a week. Okay. So the same way you have to try to do for product versus fitness, product versus income, product versus miles. You can comment the codes, right? So the code, whatever you write, you can also post it in comment. If it is not working, please let me know. Do not hesitate. Okay. Now the next one, right? The next one is that we are trying to do the same code I'm writing. Instead of box plot, we can write it like a violin plot. So what we will be getting is that violin plot distribution. Here the data distribution is more. Here the data distribution is more. The next highest is this. Here the data distribution is more. The same way you can do the violin plot for all the combinations. Also we can do swarm plot also. Swarm plot, when you see, you will be getting like a kind of dots, right? So you can see it very clearly that 20 years old, how many of the TM195 users are 20 years old. So likewise, you can get to know about it, but this would be working only for smaller data set, right? Now, you can continue this and complete it. The last one is multivariate analysis. So here, more than 2 columns we are going to study. So the same I have written here, and then here hue is equal to gender. So let me try to run this. So 18 years old is blue, that is male, and 50 years old is female. So already we know that there are very less number of female customers are there who is using TM798. Actually, we started with the question, why TM798 sale is less, right? Once you proceed with the data visualization, you could have got the answer. You can write the answer in the chat or the comment so that accordingly I can respond to you, right? Now, the same graph, I'm just copying it, right? Same code. I'm so sorry. I'm copying the same code. And in case if you want to do with the violin, you can run it. If you want to do with the swan, so now it's time for you. You can try with all the combinations, right? 3 columns. Whoever was above 37, all are male, right? So you can get to know a lot about it, right? So if you have any questions, you can ask me for sure. No need to hesitate, right?